G'day folks. I got the carb back off. I've had it off 4 or 5 times. I've been under instruction from George to do a few certain things to this carb, and he has taught me in the last couple of weeks as well, given me a full comprehensive training lesson on carburetors and how they work and what you can do to fatten up this, the height, the top end, and improve the transition down low and not make it too rich and so forth. Well, I've learnt a lot since the track day, and it's been incredible. It really has, and I'm enjoying it. Now, what's happening is, guys, we're still running lean up top. And I wasn't running any jet in the rear secondary bowls, which is crazy because it's really something. What's going on? If you're running no jet and not really still getting enough fuel, something's going on. Well, for starters, we know we're getting a great fuel supply to the carb because I've tested that down at the dyno. So we basically, straight up on tip in, it drops on the primary just a little bit, but recovers very quickly. The rear's not a problem. And for 3 or 4 pulls, I checked it, it was perfect. So that rules out fuel supply problems. Now, if we're running lean up top with the carb, with no jet in it, well, after what I've learnt and what George has taught me, it's like what's happening is we're getting too much air mixed with the fuel in the circuit. I've got the emulsion channel here, and when I bought this thing, it had one in the bottom, but all these 3 holes on both plates, metering blocks, were clear. Now, what's that telling you when you're getting too much air mixed in with your fuel? Well, obviously, your high air speeds were 28, 31. Well, what I've gone and done now is we've got 26 thousandths. So we've restricted the air entering into the emulsion channel, which is from here down through into this part. And so we've slowed that down, but what else you can do to encourage fuel up top is to either restrict it or block it, one of these holes. And we've picked the middle ones. George suggested to do this, and which will encourage more fuel, less air mixed in with the fuel, and help us up top. And that's been the trouble. When I bought this kit, I basically expected it to work because it's a packaged kit. You'd think it's ready to work. Well, there was no literature with it to sort of guide me. Like if I had no one like George to help me through it, I would have ended up having to take this to someone to set it up, and that becomes a costly exercise. Whereas now, I'm a lot more further knowledged, and we can get the fuel up the top when we need it. So, it's been great. I'm really so thankful now that I've taken the time to fully understand. I've still got a lot to learn, but I'm a lot more knowledged than what I was, even 2 weeks ago. It was, there's a lot more to it than you think, really. But hopefully now, by restricting the high-speed air bleed, we're restricting air from getting drawn into this emulsion channel, and by blocking at least, say, one at the time, it may be too much. It may be too much fuel. It may not be enough, but it will make a change. And I'm very interested to see the results and learn from that. So it'll be hopefully in the next couple of weeks I can get it tested and out on the track, because I know too, guys, the dyno and the track are totally different. I wasn't getting half the leaning condition on the dyno than I am down at the track. The first lap's not too bad, but once that engine heats up and everything sort of gets really warm, that lean condition really shows itself. So you can't beat the track for tuning. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going back to the track, back to basics. I'm moving that air-fuel ratio gauge that's in the car. Well, at least set a camera up so I can see what's going on and record all this data while I'm down there testing it. But anyway, I'll keep you posted on that one and see how I go prior to taking it to the track. All right, guys. Well, there's one other little note I want to mention that happened to me down at the track the other weekend. Was I ran out of brakes, literally with the pedal. Now the one on the left is the one I've been running, Penrite. That's a 310 degrees Celsius. Well, I've been put onto some apparently a lot better quality brake fluid. Now this is an American made product and they claim 361 Celsius. So that's, thereabouts 50 degrees more tolerant to boiling. So that'll be interesting. It was amazing once, because I actually did push the car fairly hard into the corners and I did notice a little bit of fade, but I still had good brakes, but I was losing pedal. And I ended up having to pump it a few times, or at least twice into the hairpin there, every sort of time I came around to make sure I had a bit of decent pedal. And, the more pedal I had, I still had good feel with the brake. I was just running out of pedal. But anyway, we'll give that RT700 a go, and I'll give you feedback on that later on down the track, guys. If you don't hear any complaints, you know it's good stuff. All right, one last thing before I go, guys. This wing, well, what an absolute incredible thing. Around the sweeper, guys, it feels like they've redone the track around there. It's so smooth. It just stopped the back of the car from sort of wavering around in the back, and it really made the back felt planted. It actually felt like there was a couple of big fellas sitting on the boot going around. It really settled the back end. And I didn't notice any drag on it. Mind you, I'm not I wasn't pushing hard, but as far as downforce, it works beautifully. It's awesome. So very happy with that. I'm bloody stoked with it. And it looks awesome on the track too. You can see the little hooks I used. Just bits of threaded rod, and they were anchored in sort of to the back of the wing with a little nut on the end and through there. And that's a mechanical fix. And I think it looked awesome. I love it. Well, guys, I'll get back to this carb and try and get it sorted and get it ready for our next test day. I want to get this sorted, the fueling, guys, before I even think about focusing on this thing, because at the minute I just want to get it sorted. I'm so keen on it now. I just want to nip it in the bud, because I know this E85, it's incredible stuff. And if I'd have been trying to do this with 98, guys, I would have had about 7 or 8 engines popped by now trying to learn that. And that's why I love E85. It's been so forgiving, especially on the low boost. And the lean condition up top, it hasn't as far as I know, it hasn't hurt nothing on the engine, and I've had the camera down a few times and everything looks fine. All right, guys, well, I'll pop another one up soon when I get this carb organised, and I might show the air fuels when I do that testing on it too. All right, guys, I'll catch you later.